Hold up, yo. Almost there. Whew. Yeah, it's Gangs of Pyro by Waka and Flaro. Waka's got some new music coming out here soon too, so keep an eye out for it. Follow them on social medias. They post a lot about stuff, that kind of thing, on Blue Sky. So, all right. Welcome, one and all. My name is Paul, Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here. Make sure I've got everything functioning. Yes. At the AstroPub. What? Okay. Hey, doing good. So we're in 4.1. I'm going to be doing some exploration a little bit. And talking. So this came out surprisingly quickly, and there's definitely a lot of issues.
Take away my spaceship.
But it's one of those things where like they just had to push it. There's only so much they can test internally and with the Evocati.
But you can
never, ever
take away my space game.
Markin42 just resubscribed for 36 months.
Thank you so much for that 36 months of support there, Macton. You're very Macron. You're very important, Papa. Very impressive. Very this fault. There's drinking. Shots and cheers and chat. You're all shots and cheers. Yanni Paul, how you doing? As somebody else asked, I'm doing okay. Hey, who told Star Citizen they could let bugs spill into your stream, right? Okay, Paul, I got a real quick question. Is Quantum Vegas 2955 real? Yes, it is. I will be going there July 12th. I will be one of the MCs. There's a couple of us who are going to be kind of doing stuff. It is more community based. It's more relaxed. It's not like a Citizen Con. We've got some other things going on, but this is the first time we want to do it. The goal of it long term is to create sort of a community gathering, similar to Eve Vegas, or like in terms of Star Citizen. Things like BCon or BritisonCon, that kind of stuff. Sort of a big gathering, annual gathering that happens the same time every year in the US. One of the things that at least I pointed out, and I think was pointed out by a couple of the people who helped set this whole thing up, was that where'd my gun go? Whatever. Have another one in here somewhere. Regular one though. Wait, no, I saw that. No. Was that when people were complaining about CitizenCon LA, they were like, "Go to Vegas, man," and you know, as much the cold hard cynic in me was like, how are you gonna convince a bunch of 40 to 50-year-old men who enjoy technology to go to a fan convention? Vegas. so they can get their degeneracy shit on. Have I seen Jump Ship? I've been following Jump Ship since it was called Hyperspace. I've been meaning to make a video on it since they've been doing more, and I'll probably make a video shortly. I haven't been able to play the closed beta yet, but I do plan on doing that at some point, or do that when they come out, and I'm definitely going to cover it and play it. It looks interesting. One of the things that I think is going to be kind of a downside is that there doesn't seem to be a lot of in-between spaces yet. One of the things I hope the devs do is do some sort of like central hub station where you can go and relax and not necessarily meet other players, but like where you can like apply upgrades and repair and, you know, just sort of decompress. But it's really good in terms of like their moment-to-moment action. It's clear that these folks are former DICE devs. Like they understand how to pace action properly.
Step away from the platform edge when train is approaching.
Hey, Burvey, how you doing? It's real. No, quantumvegas.com, I think you can go to, and you can see all this stuff. I don't know if we're selling tickets yet, but we might be. Right now it's $75, so that's the cheapest it's going to be. It'll be up to like $120, $25 when if you like right before. Hey, Jin. I'm a little late starting the stream because I wanted to, I think you can equip a key card. I don't know if you can put it in your hand. The thing is, it has to have an equip function for it to be put over. So if you can equip it into your inventory, like on you, then you keep it. But I don't know where I'd get a key card.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval
No, it's real. No, it's real. Yeah, there's been multiple Discord hacks. Like I think somebody from Avenger 1's community got hacked as well. All right, let's pull the old reliable. The old reliable. There we go.
Please visit us again.
There's still no AAA title games. The only ones that were attempted were Starfield, and that's seen as a failure. So I don't think we're going to see AAA titles that are space-based.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
Killer7 Actual just resubscribed for 5 months.
Thank you so much for that resubscription of 5 months with Twitch Prime there, Kilo. You're a very important pupper, very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. This your fault. There's no drinking night. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Starfield's sin was the fact that Todd Howard didn't shut up about it. Hey, Kalissa. Is the new Star Kit and armor and paint coming in 4.1 as well? It could be. But I don't know 100%. It looks like it's done.
Underscore just got a sub from SHOG underscore HR.
Chogi, thank you for
SHOG
gifting.
underscore HR gifted a tier 1 sub to Hourglass Mage underscore.
Chogi, thank you for getting that sub to Hourglass. You're both very important puppers, very impressive, very pedestrians. Y'all rock. Shots and cheers, cheers, shots and cheers.
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never,
Never.
ever take away my space game.
The sin of Starfield was not actually looking at what players were playing.
Kalisa Fox has subscribed.
Thank you so much there, Kalissa, for that Twitch Prime sub. You're a very important pub, very impressed with Rain Pedestrian. This your fault. There's your drinking night. Shots and cheers and chatting. Shots and cheers. I like Starfield, but it's seen as a critical and generally a expensive failure. For good or for ill.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
I cannot wait to replace this damn keyboard. Yeah, I mean, this keyboard's nice. It's just very loud. I wasn't expecting it to be, you know, so clicky-clacky in terms of the stream can hear it.
Your vehicle has been delivered. Please visit us again.
Do you ever do React content? I generally don't, because I try not to. I have done some in the past, like fairly recently. I've done some, mostly because I wanted to look at what CIG was talking about with their narrative, and I was fairly negative about that. To the point where people thought I was being unprofessional and I was being unfair to CIG's developers when I was like, y'all are bad at your fucking jobs? Please get better. And I wasn't saying that in a way of saying you're awful, quit, you have never worked in this business. It was not intended in that way, at least. It was more intended in the way of y'all need to get better at this. Do not suck off your own ego. You know, do not get high on your own supply. Do not pretend this is good. This is not good.
Dem biddies.
Thank you for them biddies there, champ. Yeah, no, so I think there's definitely an audience for a AAA space-based game, but it either needs to be highly specific and polished, or and like narrow in scope, or heavily narrative. It's like, I don't think you could have a AAA game that is like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky's not AAA, by the way. The fuck? What's the captain's table about today? Your favorite topic, Lady Space Patrol?
Dem biddies.
But where's the lie though? If they want praise for their narrative execution, they need to put in the work to be worth of praise.
No, I agree. But I think since then they've been a little bit more clear that they need to do some work, and they've talked about how they're changing how they approach narrative in the monthly reports. And then they also mentioned, of course, we've seen with Wakello, like that's the direction they're going with, which is good. I only said it because I wanted you to watch Buzzcut Psycho's video on T0 insurance. I went into hating the idea and came out absolutely loving the idea. I mean, you were there in the stream when I was talking about it. I don't hate Tier 0 idea. I can see the unintended consequences from it, but I understand what T1 and T2 are going through. Like, and I think more people who look at T1 and T2 are more people like, okay, I understand where this is going. I like this idea. There's definitely some faults that I think CIG needs to address, like how crafting could be impacted by this, even though this is built with specifically crafting in mind.
Dem biddies.
Dem biddies.
Friendly reminder, cloud visit Horizon, the city in the cloud.
What was thank you for them biddies. Jakaro, what was Morph's idea for the fix? Yeah, so we're talking about PvP versus PvE in Star Citizen. That's the topic. I was trying to get somebody who was dedicated to PvP to come on and talk about PvP in Star Citizen, but I have the worst luck trying to talk to PvPers, because every time I try to talk to people I know who PvP, they're busy. because they go on the weekends to hang out with their family, or they do content on the weekends, so they can't like do anything. And unfortunately, I have to, when I'm dealing with anybody who does PvP content, I have to like schedule them like a month in advance so that they can actually do it. And then, you know, topics can change very quickly with Star Citizen just because of the nature of how CIG does balances and stuff. So I'm gonna have to do a general overview of PvP in Star Citizen, you know, at some point when I'm sitting down with like Zero or Detox or Burke or, you know, other people. I've talked with Avenger 1, and that's the problem, is that he's usually pretty busy. Avenger's busy. I've talked with him in the past. I haven't talked with Virgil, but I've had him on the show before, I believe. So I'm probably going to be going into this defending Star Citizen PvP. So PvPers, please don't hate me if I fuck this up hardcore. I'll be arguing from the point of view of my own reasons why I think PvP is an important part of Star Citizen. But I also believe that, and I think that most PvPers agree that generally the goal should be a hybrid model between PvP and PvE, because PvP won't always be viable.
Engaged. Quantum travel complete.
But I will definitely be coming on in the perspective of no, PvE servers would be a terrible idea. I think they're inevitable, but I don't think they're a good idea for official servers yet. Oh, tier 0? Yeah, tier 0 is not a PvE versus PvP problem. Tier 0 is a game design problem, because what tier 0 does is it actually steps backwards from where we've been going in terms of risk versus reward. It makes the game less risky. Now, there are things that have been added that we haven't seen in 4.1, which is the death penalty. There is now a surcharge for death, which is 5% of your entire income. That's a little steep. It probably needs to be a flat rate, but yeah, so, and a lot of people are pissed off about that. Any death. I think it's bugged that any death happens. I think it's supposed to be suicide is where it's introduced. I haven't heard any of the official ones. I heard someone say that it's a bug where it costs 5% of your wealth if you hit the backspace button, and because it's supposed to be only for the backspace button, not for just regular deaths. But I could be wrong. Well, here's my cynical take. The reality is, how is this any different from what we already have? How is this any different from somebody just spending fuck tons of money to always have gear ready to troll people? Does it make it easier to troll people? Yes. But how is this different from, you still need to like respawn and regen, and so you need to prepare for a regen. It just means you don't have to like the problem is it's too soon for that. CS. I've been saying for a long time, you're just gonna have to pull the Band-Aid off. There's never gonna be a time that's good for anything specifically implemented in the game. And I think the reason why they're saying let's do it now is because they're specifically looking at improving performance, improving the experience of the game, reducing bugs. So they're like, we're gonna start doing this now while we have improvements to the game. You know, have I considered reaching out to ED PvPers, especially gankers? No, I don't have a lot of connections into the ED community, so. Give us an unstuck command then. I mean, that might be a good, like, moderate change, but I don't think CIG is going to go with that way because you're not going to have an unstuck command on live. Like in 1.0.
Med Station 4. Head nurse to Med Station 4.
Or wait for... like I said, there's never going to be a good time. It's always going to be buggy. Star Citizen isn't going to suddenly magically wake up and be not buggy. And they need to test out some of those features sooner rather than later because that will just extend the time. Yeah, and that's the problem, is that it can be used as an exploit. No, I get it. But like, I'm of the opinion that, like, okay, so what's more reliable? What is a tangible, reasonable rate upon which you can say Star Citizen's more reliable that isn't based off of vibes? This isn't me being like pedantic or anything like that. It's more of like trying to like make a point about the whole like, well, CIG should wait until the bugs are fixed. And I don't think CIG has one either. I don't think anyone can, like, right now. And everyone who will be able to quantify what is good for Star Citizen to implement these things is going to be different, because the reality is that as a game, Star Citizen, or any game really, is just going to be is going to have to get done at some point. They're going to have to like start putting in aspects of the game that people don't like, even if the game isn't ready for it. There's no game that is not buggy. Can games be less buggy? Yes, but Jacaro, what would be a quantifiable metric that you could use to say that Star Citizen is ready for these features? If you can play a game the entire day without running into a game-halting bug, what's a game-halting bug? Are we talking something that kills you? Or are we talking something that stops you from progressing? Like, what's a game-halting bug? And are we talking about only you, Halingar, or are we talking about how many percentage of the population needs to have that experience? Remembering that you cannot have an entirely bug-free experience in any game. Your favorite game has bugs. Game-halting bug is when something bad happens to me and only me. Stove is getting my point, but yeah. So your argument is based off of vibes. And that's the problem. There's vibes, it's vibes-based reasoning. The argument of Star Citizen isn't ready for X is vibes-based.
You can take away my space suit.
And that doesn't...
You can even take away my space
So then
lasers.
CIG can never implement these things.
But you can
because
never,
someone is always going to not have a good
ever
time. So...
Take away my space game.
Which is the reason why I've stopped like really fretting about this kind of stuff. I'm just like, yeah, maybe modify it a little bit. But again, I'm of the opinion of move fast and break things when it comes to Star Citizen.
Nicodemus_Archwell just resubscribed for 13 months.
Thank you so much for that 13 months of support there, Nicodemus. You're very important, Pupper, very impressive, very pedestrian. This is your fault. There's Richard Good night. Shots and cheers, Jack. Shots and cheers in chat. Shots and cheers. Broken missions is a game halt. Okay, so if broken missions are a game halt, what percentage of the population would be needing to not experience broken missions entirely for you to for CIG to advance in these more significant changes to the game? Yeah, right, that's a good point. It's impossible to measure. So CIG has an impossible task, because when you say the game isn't ready, what you're saying is, I don't feel like it's ready. And that's not a thing that CIG can use as a metric to judge whether they should add or shouldn't add things. They're just going to do things on their own.
You can take away
I'm beating this horse to death, but...
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews. John Wick is
But you
not a
can
real
never,
person, Chimp.
Ever. Take away my space game.
The first tasty just resubscribed for 46 months. 60% of the time it's work every time.
60% of the time works every time. Thank you so much for that. 46 months of support. You're very important, Pupper. Very impressive, Mr. Any pedestrian. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Next, you tell me Santa Claus isn't real. No, he's real. Man, I remember when Star Citizen's first playable content was game modules. Yep. Oh, I'm that old as well. Agreed. I'm super excited to finally be able to use my hangar gear without worrying about losing it. T0 has a lot of issues, but it feels like this is an important stepping stone to the stuff coming next. It will also help them get more data as involved in first-person content more. Okay, so
Welcome
yeah,
to the ASOP
I think there are ways that they can mitigate some of these issues. The two things that I can think of right away, which I don't think CIG will do, but I would love for them to try, is
Your vehicle, please visit us.
number one. The biggest loser in this change is contested zones. Put the fucking doors on timers. Put the entry doors to the contested zones on timers, so that once you've entered, if the door closes, you can't come back in 5 seconds, getting out of the whatever regen bed, the medical bed, and just able to do whatever you want to. Secondly, what they need to do is change the regen cost to a flat fee or a percentage, and players can make that choice. Have a choice pop up when you regen. Would you rather pay 5% of your wealth and then have it calculated out what that would be, or 5,000 UEC? because then players who are basically broke can pay 5% of their wealth, which will be less than 5,000 UEC. Or I understand that perspective, Charnel, that, you know, item retrieval shouldn't go on live on T0, but I also think that in reality, people are making a mountain out of a molehill. Tier 0 is no different than we have now in terms of actual gameplay impact. Because I remember somebody said, yeah, but if they have a regen bed and they park a ship in a regen bed, then they can just keep coming back over and over again. And the response to that is blow up the ship. Just destroy the ship that they're regenning out of. Then they can't regen when you kill them. So what happens if you have 0 money when you die then? 5% of 0 is 0. I don't think there's that much of a difference because people already dump tons of money into buying gear, storing it, and then using it for whatever purposes. Does it make things a little worse for like briefing tactics? For sure. And I think it honestly does more to hurt the game than it does to help the game. But based off of what I've seen in terms of actual interaction, not people complaining, not people who are vocal about it, but people who like it, more people like this change than dislike it. So it's definitely a boon overall to the experience of the game rather than the gameplay itself. And one of the things that I've tried to internalize over the last 5 months is perception is reality. It doesn't matter what CIG does or says. What matters is what people feel like CIG is doing. Which is weird because I just said CIG can't use metrics, vibes-based metrics to change what they want to change. But in this case, it has to be. If you look at if you look at last year, 2024, CIG's full year, and you look at what was actually added, it was a fucking amazing year for Star Citizen content and features. CIG did a fuck ton, like improved the game dramatically over the course of the year. But if you ask the community, generally speaking, how they feel about 2024, most people will have a negative opinion of 2024. And the reason why they have a negative opinion of 2024 is because CIG overpromised and underdelivered. People were anticipating more than what was delivered, even though what was delivered was a lot. CIG has a perception problem, not necessarily a production problem. If CIG can rein back those expectations, keep those expectations in check, and continue forward while monitoring what people perceive of them and change that perception in little ways, then they will have a much better perception and a much better overall opinion from the gaming community and from their own community than last year. And they're already starting to do that. Like it's clear that that's what CIG's sort of direction is. And I can see a couple metrics that point that out. Number 1, engagement on Twitch and YouTube is very high. I'm not seeing a huge engagement boost myself. There's a lot of reasons for that personally, because I made a new channel and I'm changing things around so the algorithm has to resort me and that kind of stuff. But I'm looking at other channels that are doing really well with content. And on top of that, CIG's funding is better than it's ever been. So players are generally opening their wallets more now than they were in the past. And I wouldn't be surprised if the number of people playing the game has increased over the last 3 months than previously. I would argue that he has a communication problem, myself or CIG.
Engines on. Quantum fuel at 100%. Launch sequence complete.
Do you think CIG should stop selling armor and weapons and move to selling skins? Oh, yeah, of course. I think CIG's armor and weapons stuff is kind of bad, though at the same time, now with T0 sort of return stuff, I don't know if that matters as much, but... I think the hex code is where they're going to go, but they're going to wrap it in with crafting. Because they sort of hinted that at CitizenCon, that was the direction they're going with all those custom t-shirts and uniforms and ship paints and stuff like that. I think it's going to be wrapped up into the crafting system. More MMOs should take a page from Final Fantasy XIV. In terms of what specifically, I agree. There's a lot of reasons why. Heyo, I fell through my first planet last night. Felt like it was like a rite of passions. Congratulations, welcome, Doctor. Welcome to the club. Cosmetics, yeah. No, I agree. You hate transmods / glams and MMOs. You are a minority, Jakero. From what I can tell, you are a significant minority in that crew. You did one 890 jump mission, and you have 15 Scorcher scopes and 14 Scorcher compensators. Damn. Ooh, wow. Okay, maybe I'm wrong with Transmog. Why do y'all hate Transmog? Because I am not familiar with Transmog as much. From what I understand, how it's supposed to work is you could basically take a piece of armor that you like the aesthetics for and transfer stats from another armor to that armor, so you can keep the aesthetics, but also have the buff that you want. I don't think CIG is going to change the stats of the armor. Like, I don't think CIG will have a situation where you can, like, take a light armor and make it heavy armor stats, but keep all of the light armor
Suffer.
features.
Transmog haters. Mommy demand style.
Glamour is the Final Fantasy XIV version of Transmog. Okay. So it's fine if you make it across the damage class, but not for items that are a different class. I don't think there needs to be easier ways to unify your look. Guess Transmog upsets those who want to be identified as enemies' equipment visually. I think that, and what people are saying is, like, being able to basically break the game by taking stats and features of a light armor set and putting it onto a heavy armor set without thus having heavy armor with light armor statistics. The idea of being like, none of the downsides of having heavy armor, all of the benefits of having light armor, plus all the benefits that come with that heavy armor.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Jamie's 12 just resubscribed for 19 months.
Thank you so much, James, for that 19 months of support. You're a very important pupper, very impressive pisser, very pedestrian. This your fault.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Harsha just resubscribed for 2 months.
Marcia. Yeah, boy. Thank you so much for that. Twitch Prime subs 2 months. You're a very important pub. Very impressive. Best of any pedestrian. This is your fault. You're drinking night. Shots and cheers and chat. Y'all shots and cheers. We're talking about transmogs as if CIG is going to do transmog. I don't think CIG, for clarity, I don't think CIG is going to do any transmogs. All right, so I'm going to head to, I'm in around Everest. Is it Aberdeen that it's at? I'm gonna get my ass killed in this thing, but aerial. I'm gonna try this one. Of Tundra Copian Horns. Oh, hey, I'm on McGrath, so there's actually, I'll accept that offer. On CeeLo. Okay. Do some science, chat. Okay, so where's CeeLo? I have to deliver them to it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The Hathor stuff is pretty cool. I wanted to kind of look at the stations and see what they're like, but I also know I'd get absolutely mauled without a group. I don't have enough time to kind of gather people together. Yeah, I got plenty of sleep. What's the new sandbox activity? The Hathor stuff where you have to like align stations, go align radio towers and go to the station and activate a giant laser. I don't know I don't think they've added in the final aspect of that laser. There's been assumptions that giant laser will spawn a Valacar, and that's what you're gonna deal with is a Valacar, but yeah. You're our lore master, and you pronounced it CeeLo as CeeLo as CeeLo? Yes, I am. Like CeeLo Green. Non-combat stuff? Well, there are non-combat stuff. If you want to do the missions for... Oh, no, most of those are combat. I was going to say you have to go hunt Copians, but the missions for Rayari, and then there's also missions for... Someone's asking about lore-wise? I see someone replying to it, but if someone's asking what do we know about lore-wise from Hathor, we know a lot. Besides the fact that SG1 killed her. Oh. So Hathor is a organization, a company that used to run the Nexus system. They're basically Hurston, but like a resource extraction company rather than a weapons company. They controlled all of what is now the Nexus system and let pirates take over large chunks of it because they just didn't want to bother paying for defense. They're mostly a resource company. Their focus was gathering resources, and they were very shady about it. So the idea that perhaps Hathor introduced Valakar to the Stanton system specifically because they wanted to try to harvest them, 100% on brand for them. What's the topic of today's captain's table? Who's on it? It's Execute and Star Jump Grim, and we'll be talking about PvP versus PvE. You know, Star Citizen PvP and PvE. So Pyrotechnic Amalgamated but lazier. To a degree, yeah. Pyrotechnic Amalgamated but with less morals. I don't think we'll see the TAC with this update. I think we'll see the TAC either around Invictus or IAE of next year, or this year, I should say. Well, Sergeant Lobster, we're gonna do a call-in show version of the Captain's Table once a quarter or once a month as well. I just need to actually do the work up front and figure out how to do a way of having people sign up and come in, because it's not something I want to just like, I say call-in show. It's more of a sit and chat, but not necessarily on the spur of the moment. You're gonna have to like sign up ahead of time so I know like what topics you want to talk about, so I'm prepared. All right, so to stay in the light, so go there. So who's the PvP experts? I'm the one who has to talk about it at PvP. Zarek, I tried to get people to talk about with PvP, and nobody was available. I have constantly and consistently tried to talk to PvP experts, and they're never available when I am. So, and I'm tired of people being like, why didn't you get this people from this other side to come on? It's like, because I can't fucking get them, because they either aren't available or they don't want to come on. So instead of being shitty about it, people who say those sorts of things, go talk to content creators who you'd like to come onto the Captain's Table and tell them to come onto the Captain's Table, because they don't listen to me. But I will be defending PvP for this situation. Because it's not really talking about PvP as in if PvP is a viable game mode. It's more of a, what is PvP? What is PvE? How can we talk about them, like generally speaking? And does PvE, dedicated PvE servers have a place in Star Citizen? That sort of thing. Please start the Captain's Table with a disclaimer about lack of PvP peoples. So, There was a call by some people in the community, specifically arguing for PvE servers, dedicated PvE servers. So splitting the community into PvP versus PvE, so that PvE people don't have to deal with PvP people. And it's caused some kerfluffle, and I decided to just sort of weigh in on that one. Yeah. I don't want you to get too frustrated by the criticism. I'll probably mention it, but like, the problem is that, especially with me, is that people don't see me as a PvP person. Even PvP people don't see me as a PvP person. But I've been in PvP tournaments. People ask me to come on. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I've done PvP before, and I enjoy PvP. And in fact, it was funny. I actually went through Venture One's sort of PvE academy, sort of thing. And even the people who were there were like, you got the basics down pretty well. It's like, I know how to PvP. I'm not good at PvP, which is why I don't make content on it, but I know how to. Trying to find Copian horns. Can I give you pro tips on how to PvP asking for a friend? I can give you the basic advice. The advice that I was given and the advice that I've experienced. To win a PvP fight, you have to be... You always have to try to keep as much of your... as much of your ship pointed at the enemy and hitting them as possible. I know that sounds like, oh, well, duh. But no, I don't mean like, oh, well, you should, shoot them. No, I mean like maneuvering is less important than gunnery. Gunnery is the most important skill in Star Citizen. If you can get decent enough maneuvering and keep your pips on target and hit, you will win every time. But knowing your ship is also important, because if you have a good enough ship that can get away from the other guy, you can outturn them, you can outmaneuver them, you can just speed away. There are ways that you can use maneuverability to help you out. But those things don't matter if you get locked into a knife fight in the wrong place. You're fucked. So knowing how to fight is almost as knowing how to hit somebody is almost as important as knowing how to fly. Yeah, it's all about time on target. And commit. You have to commit. If you uncommit, if you half in, half out shit, you're fucked. Do not hesitate. If you're in a spot where you can line up shot and hit them, you fucking hit them. You don't be like, oh, well, what if they come back at me? You don't fucking care. Once you've at that point where you're lining up a shot, you've committed. You've committed to this fight. It's gonna have to happen. If you half out, you're just gonna get destroyed. You have to fucking pull. If you want to retreat, commit to retreating. I'm not hitting that fucking that fucking image. I don't know where that is. Yeah, and those aren't tundra copians. Those are forest copians if you're in a specific location. SMO 18 is it? It's a frozen lake. This mission reminds me of the beginning of the thing where the helicopter is chasing the dog. Yeah. Yeah, you have to have specific copians because it's like tundra copian horns. I don't think they exist. If we can find tundra copians, I bet you they don't. They just give you copian horns other than tundra horns. Just don't read. Oop, oop, oop. Those are grazers. Grazers. Swear to Christ, I've seen nothing but grazers. Grazers. Fucking fuck. Tundra grazers are everywhere. Ain't no fucking copians though. I can tell you don't mind much since your scanning button. Yeah, I don't. These are new controls as well, so it's more of a... I gotta figure out how to improve this without doubling up on things. I want to say... Yeah, that's it. Probably just, yeah. Paul can tell you the real reason people fell for it. I mean, the reason people fell for it is because CIG didn't fucking say anything. They just bad at telling people. Oh my God, I'm seeing little markers that are like super tiny. Yeah, that's the problem, is that like people didn't know there was anything to fall for. People were just confused and mad. Like, I don't give a fuck if they're bad or good. Why are you suddenly telling me they're bad? What the fuck? I don't give a shit. I backed them because they give me the best skins or whatever. I think CIG fundamentally misunderstood their universe, where like there are good guys and bad guys. There aren't good guys or bad guys in the Star Citizen universe. And if you wanted players to dislike a faction, you need that faction to personally and very specifically fuck that faction over. Like I said, if you wanted people to hate the Frontier Fighters, make it so that you didn't get their shit until you did something else. Everyone else got their shit early. You had to complete, you know... Just a mining. Like, number 3, and you had to do specific things. Just be fucking grazers. Yeah, fucking grazers. Swear to Christ. Which grazers? Didn't mean to do that. Scare the crap out of some grazers, though. My panic button's right next to my scan button. Well, you could never work with a Xeno threat. Like, you could work with the Frontier Fighters, so. If you wanted players to have someone who's evil, you make it so you can never work with them. And you can't get reputation with them, that kind of thing. Yep, that's Quasi-Grazers. Swear to God, there's like 1,000 Quasi-Grazers and not a single Tundra Copian for miles. Grazers. Yep. Conditional scout. I mean, you can join me if you want to. They're already extinct now. What do you mean when it goes live? Someone's gonna find the spot where they always spawn and just camp that area, specifically because they can. I think the bug is that CIG has like completely removed Tundra Grazers or Tundra Copians. Are there spawn locations with Grazers shared with Copians? Yeah, they're in the same area. So Tundra Grazers and Tundra Copians should be in the same spot, according to their own guides. Yeah, that might be it. Nope, Quasi-Grazers. This must be a bug where it's like more Quasi-Grazers, or they've turned off the Tundra Copians for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know how their spawn system works either, so. Yeah, Copians will attack Grazers if they see them. Grazers. Oh, Harry McGrath needs aphrodisiac. Building a better future, yeah? Here we go. Why no Tundra Copians from the patch notes? Note this patch does not contain all intended features. No, I get it. A single Kazi Grazer. I will harvest you.
Landing gear down.
Just like Alaska. Can I harvest you? Tongue. Back on. Yeah, I'm just showing off the Xi'an ambassador's kid. My little armor papoose.
Landing gear up.
If they ever add biogenetic engineering to us players, it'll be all crazy character customizations. I'm not getting back into that conversation. We had that conversation in the office hours, and I've said repeatedly, I will do my best to not do anything to offend furries, because if I do, my ass is gonna die. They run the internet. I am not stupid enough to do that. All I'm saying is that I don't think CIG will go that direction. That is 100% what will happen if CIG adds any sort of customizations for that in that direction of bioengineering. And it wouldn't be a stupid move. I'm about to give up on this. Probably just more grazers, but yeah, your grazers. I don't think there are. Because we've actually gone through and hunted forest copians, and they just had copian horn. They didn't have forest copian horn or anything like that. And they are very specific in terms of, like, you need to have this very specific type of copian horn. Yeah, they're in Ghost Hollow. There's other places that you can find them. They're not difficult to find. Yeah, that was my main point when I was talking about that sort of thing, was like every major science fiction franchise has some version of cat people. And it makes them fucking money. Final Fantasy 14, that... Oh, hit it again. That shit just absolutely makes them money. That's bad. That's bad, Rhinosphere. I've seen people make the argument that, like, if Star Citizen is going to be a cyber kind of heavily inspired by cyberpunk universes, it's not like that wouldn't be too difficult to add with like mechanical additions. Instead of having Star Kitten helmet, you have a Star Kitten, you know, facial reconstruction. Even if bioengineering doesn't do crazy customization, I'd love to have customizations like better cold resistance negative or be able to handle space larger. Yeah. No, I agree. I just know that when you have that sort of conversation, it's going to end in that direction. People are like, can I have cat ears? I do not believe that Tundra Copians exist. But yeah, I'm all for ears and tail customizations, but then how do we fit into our spacesuits? That's the good question. The easy answer is you just you keep the spacesuits, and then you just, when you take spacesuits off, you can see them. Stick the tail through one of the pants legs. Excuse me, say it right. Can I please have cat ears, Uwu? Yeah. I will go to the Emporium to show people off who didn't see it last night. Or cat eyes with better night vision, yeah. Hey, Citizen Joel. The major addition is definitely the the Hathor sites. That's the biggest addition in terms of content. This is the next big major addition, but because there's, you know, bugs, we can't actually complete a lot of them, like the Rayari stuff and the one that I'm going to show you next.
Engaged. Quantum travel complete.
The lad, TM.
Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete. Shield on.
Where's the station? There it is.
Hello, yes. Can you see me?
No.
Very disappointing. But you want that. Hold.
Ah! You're not supposed to see him.
Go, lad, please.
Did you hear what he said? Can you see me? I said no. He immediately was like, very disappointing. Like, oh, you're not supposed to see him. That's good expectations. Good job, CIG. Hey, Max. Can confirm, Foroscopian gives regular horns, yeah. Hey, Grim. You good for setup in about 15? Here you go. I'm sure you've already seen a bunch of this if you haven't even been watching my channel. But meet Okello.
Welcome. Let me know what you need.
You're yellow. Okay. Because I still have horns. I have 4 Copian horns. I don't have the pips yet, but I have his burrito. There's Raquello. First in game Banu, yep. And there he is.
Hat now. Try different time. Bye. Close now. Try come back.
And he's voiced. Not yet. Now, last night, Loken and I were able to clip through this door here. It's opening soon. We're able to clip through. There is an entire collection of stuff behind here. I've made a small clip video of it. It will be up on the stream. It's actually up right now. I think I released 15 minutes ago on the channel. So if you want to check that out, all of the different things. It has what looks like to be Hadesian artifacts, and yet that is Merrick's. There are Merrick's in there. There are Merrick's, Copians, and Grazers in there in cages. So he's literally the collector from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. And it's clear you're supposed to like put stuff into here and then be able to sell him stuff. So he's definitely more than just a mission giver. He's also just like an in-game vendor of some kind. My thought is likely a lot of the stuff we find that it's like new, that are like relics and other oddities, he will purchase, or they will purchase for a significant profit. Yeah, they did fix the Corsair. So they took the two nose guns that were supposed to be for the, let me... This is Trazen. Yeah, he's Trazen's fleshy form.
Your vehicle has been moved to a storage facility. Please visit us again. Goodbye.
You just skip through the vid. I wanted to show off the whole thing that we said, including like the mission that didn't properly function, but also like at least it looks like we're here, and then inside the different aspects in that. So yeah, I think he's going to be a vendor and a both a vendor and a seller. So a vendor where you can buy and sell from. Yeah, it looks good. It's definitely not finished. It's definitely work in progress. But it's clear that that's where you're supposed to go meet with him. Meet with them. Stop misgendering the alien, Paul. Banu don't have gender because they don't have different sexes. They're just Banu. The concept of gender, they understand the concept of gender, it just confuses them. It seems inefficient to them. Is the lore for him left in pads in some CZ somewhere? No, this isn't Star Trek. You aren't going to be able to have sex with the aliens. Mike mentioned that it seems like they sped up the animation. They may have done so. So, what they've done for the Corsair is the wings are now size 5. And these are now size 5 as well. The bottom ones, these ones which are controlled by the co-pilot, are now size 4. Oh no, these are size 5, 2 size 4s, and the wings are size 4. So it's 2 size 5s and 2 size 4s. So they've significantly improved 1 size 5s and 4 size 4s. I don't know which one would be size 5. These are size 4s. Let me look up the stats real quick. Oh, let me store this and then stats. It's effectively increased the 2 size 5s and 4 size 4s, yes, but the 2 size 4s you don't control anymore. Or are you guys also size obsessed? Because size matters. I know that's what he told you before, but that it didn't matter, but he was lying to you. The big thing is because it means that the Corsair is now more punchy than the Constellation. So it's now better than the Constellation again.
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
No, they only let the 2 frontal guns on the bottom are the ones that the co-pilot can do. I don't think the pilot controls all 6 guns now. They still only control 4 rather than the 6. That was the original idea. But they've swapped it so the chin guns, which were size 5s, are no longer size 5s. They're now size 4s. So the pilot goes from controlling 4 size 4s to 2 size 5s and 2 size 4s. They're still weirdly uncomfy, and why with the limited arc? Yeah, they're definitely still shitty. The front pilot guns are still basically pointless. The front co-pilot guns, I should say. All right. Okay, so vehicle weapons, missile racks. So yeah, so this is the M6A, which are size 5s. They're size 4s. Size 5. Size 4. Size 4. Size 4. Remote turret, size 2. These are turrets. Might be 1 size 5. You might be right there, Q-Pan. No, this is a size 5 mount, but it has a size 4 gun on it. So yeah, this is a size 5 mount. There are 2 size 5 mounts, 2 size 4 mounts, 4 size 4 mounts, yes. So the pilot, yeah, has control of two size 5s and 2 size 4s, and then the gunner has control of 2 size 4s. What's the current layout in 4.0? The gunner has 2 size 5s, or the co-pilot has 2 size 5s, and the pilot has 4 size 4s. Going by Pox's video, he was firing 6 guns from the pilot seat in his 4.1 video. We tried it last night and it was not working. They didn't nerf it, they buffed it. They basically gave the pilot more firepower. But the co-pilot seat still sucks. It's still nerfed, it's just less nerfed than it was. Pilot has 2 size 5s and 2 size 4s and 4.0. Does it? I thought it only had 2 size. I thought that the co-pilot had two size 5s. No, they just changed its position. All right, so now I'm just confused because everyone's telling me different things, and I'm not being able. Let me pull out the Corsair again and fly around and see if I can fire it, and then I'll call it.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Your vehicle, please visit us again.
Is this the new baby mission giver? Yes, the new baby mission giver. Brand new, yeah. That's Wikello.
Cannot see you now. Try later. Bye.
The co-pilot went from 2 size 5s to 2 size 4s. Okay. Should put the accent on the first syllable? Wikello. Possibly. We're just gonna end up calling him Wilco anyways. Oh, really? Yeah. Wikello, like Piccolo. Oh, I guess, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. There are eight shots. But those are all size 4s. Oh shit.
Time to leave then. Okay. Everything good now. Bye.
Landing gear up.
The battery's back on and fire some shots. Okay. Oh, nope. There's also the M7As. Those are also on there. There we go. And deploy. You can fire all 6.
See you next time.
Yeah. The wings folded, you can't control them, but yes. Now you can fire all 6 shots. But yeah, you do lose control of the chin turrets, even if the co-pilot is in the back turret. So there's no reason to have a co-pilot. Four size 4s, 2 size 5s is what it has. Well, I melted mine. Obviously, so did a lot of people. They want us to buy it back now. Not happening. This is the reason why you don't melt just because of a nerf. Because they'll nerf the ship that you really like. That's the meta ship right now, and they'll buff another ship. Just pick a ship you like and move on. Before the nerf, you could shoot 6. But I believe the 2 chin turrets were size 5s. It was like 4 size 5s and 2 size 4s. I might be wrong on that one. So it's still nerfed compared to its original configuration, but it's now significantly better than the Connie. Because you get an additional 2 size 5s. We're gonna go to Grim and log out there. No, you still have it's like a 20-30% improvement. Yeah, Chef's not wrong. The logic is engineering. I'm gonna log out and then we'll do a setup. I'm gonna put X and crew in. Yeah, it's not 20 SCU of Copian horns. It's 20 Copian horns is that it? But it's of a type of Copian horn that doesn't exist in the game. Paul, your clip of you sending Loken, do you have a clip of the inside anyone? I do. I'm actually, the clip that I put in there is me inside. Yeah, sure. I literally just posted it a couple of hours ago. Yeah, Maelstrom's in Squadron. A lot of the stuff that's not in Star Citizen right now is in Squadron, and they're testing it in Squadron. And when they're asked why it's not in Star Citizen, they basically said that if they added it to Star Citizen, it would cause too much disruption to the game. So they're waiting for them to finish hardening the game as it stands now, fixing the problems that they need to before they add in those features which will cause disruptions. All of the ships are going to be nerfed, buffed, as long as the new ships and mechanics are coming out. I never understood why people freak out the way they do. Because that's just natural. That's just gamer reaction. Like, I've been a fan of 40K for a while. I've only really dug into 40K as a fandom over the last 5 years. And everyone freaks out when GW does balance passes. Because they're like, now this ship, I just spent all this time making my faction good and using the meta strats, and now they're garbage. I hate you. I spent so much money. You know, people chase the meta because they want to be the best, and then they get burned, and they're like, what the hell? The smartest thing anyone can do if you're in Star Citizen is don't buy any fucking ships. Buy a starter package and earn money. And before anyone goes, but what about earning money? Like, these events, you can make a fuck ton of money. I've made, like, millions of UEC from doing the events that CIG has given us. And you can, if you find a group of people, a handful of people to help you out, you can easily get most of those events, like, knocked out fairly quickly and just get insane amounts of money. Because people plan based off the info they're given. Yeah, but we also know that a lot of the specifics of that info are going to change. I did supply and die the first day, and I've been helping others get corundum. Yeah, I mean... I'm starting the mythical 1.0 launch with a prospector and my starting Pisces. Everything else was support. I bought to support the project. Yeah. Yeah. That is also true. People will ignore the hey, this stuff shit's is subject to change and things will change. I understand the perspective of people who are like, hey, my ship got nerfed. I'm mad because I was flying my ship and now I hate it. I get that. But at the same time, that is underscoring the idea that everything you like about the ship will remain exactly the same because of the stats. The stats aren't the reason why I would suggest anyone even buy the ship. If you buy a ship, it should be for its role rather than the stats. Speaking of which, any word on CIG doing rework on Pyro Rep? No, not really. Yeah, there's definitely some parts that are stupid in my opinion. Like the Corsair pilot or co-pilot having both control of the front guns and the back guns, and nobody else has control of the back guns. I don't like that design decision, but it's also not new. Multiple ships have that design decision attached to them. But does that make the Corsair a worse ship to its intended role as a combat explorer? Not really. Does it make it annoying? Yeah. But then again, I'm also of the opinion that CIG needs to offer refunds for free for anybody who wants it, because this is the game in development. And I also think that if CIG offered 100% no questions asked refunds for absolutely everything in the game, that if you purchase with cash, most people wouldn't take advantage of it, and the vast majority of people would still keep their ships. And again, CIG tends to be on the cowardly side when it comes to a lot of decisions, because they're afraid if they make a decision that hurts them with money, they'll lose out and collapse or whatever. I'm looking forward to harder missions in the future that reward group play. Right now, almost everything is soloable and doesn't really reward group play that well. If the forward guns were full turret, sure, but just have gimbals and then disable the guns when they're in the remote. Yeah, that's sort of a balance pass issue, something that CIG needs to kind of look at now that they're going back and looking at the Corsair again.
Landing gear down.
Sure, it'd be a risk, but I think the reward would outweigh the risk. But CIG is not in the business of taking risks in that way. But to a degree, they already kind of have to do that. If people in Australia request a refund, they could get in trouble legally if they deny an Australian a refund. Many EU laws are similar, where like you have to give a refund, no questions asked. If they just made it so that when the co-pilot is in the back seat, the pilot still has control of the guns, that would be fine. Because I think the actual role of the co-pilot, the better role for the co-pilot, is in fact the is engineering, as like managing power and those sorts of things, rather than guns. Americans do not. We do not have that protection, but CIG is only nominally an American company. Most of their offices are in Europe. The vast majority of their employees are in Europe, or either in Europe or the UK, and the UK has better protections than US does. So. And situational awareness.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Oh, the 890 mission's not that difficult. Pissport Pete is also not wrong. They do have a 30-day money-back guarantee for everything. But, I mean, like, more than that.
Your vehicle has been... Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Man, seeing this, I can't wait for the eventual Connery work. Love the Andromeda. Looks dated now. I know it won't. I'll be in for a wait though. Yeah, I think it's sooner than people give it a credit for. I think we'll see the Connie rework. I assume that the Freelancer and the Connie are in the same sort of state as the Mark II Hornet changeover is. Like, I feel like they're going to get their updates quicker because both MISC and well, RSI has already got its overhaul, and so them going back and overhauling the interior of the Connie is got to be a priority. Simply because they also need to give it components for engineering. They don't have components inside. So what do you think of the new Banu base in game? It's good. It's awesome. It's cool. I'd love to see it more fleshed out because it's currently not. It's pretty bare bones just because the places that we snuck into, that me and Loken snuck into yesterday, isn't finished. It's still got, you know, it's got to cook, and there's obviously more to it than what we're seeing. But so far, it's a pretty neat thing. Now, the one problem is that CIG is continuing to throw off my fucking video plans because I was working on a video for like Star Citizen, the lore video on the story of Star Citizen, and then I paused that because I wanted to do the like Stanton Pyro War, and then I was gonna go back to that, and then I realized, oh no, people really want to see the fighters and bombers of the UE Navy, which it's a follow-up I need to do. So I started working on that. And then I also said I was going to work on some like beverage stuff, like food and beverages of Star Citizen, the lore behind them and what they are. And so right when all of this happens is when they said, by the way, there's a Banu mission giver. And I was like, fuck you. God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to do an intro guide to the Banu, who they are, like, how they function in game, all that kind of stuff. Nah, Banu Merchantman's not coming out. That's not what this means. Saw a video of the inside, definitely needs to be finished, but I'm excited about it. Yeah, I just released a video of myself and Loken exploring the inside. We got into it last night. How do you think our choices in the supply or die will affect Pyro going forward? It sounded like they will take the most supplies into account. It'll probably decide who actually goes up against who's the main faction in the next route. So, like, if the Headhunters don't do well, then the CFP, because we did see that there was a leaked image of Xenothreat. So I wouldn't be surprised if Xenothreat comes into the scene as a main antagonist. So then the next round will be whoever wins Supply or Die versus Xenothreat. But we'll see. Hey, Lawrence. I don't understand how they released the first Hornet Mark II mid last year and none of them have access to components. Because they're designed for Squadron 42. And as far as we know, you don't have the chance to swap out components in Squadron 42. So it was a lazy implementation in the sense that we already have these models laying around and they function in game. Let's see if we can make them work in Star Citizen. They can. Here we go. Complete story of Star Kitten when. That would probably be more like a short. Oh. All right, I'm running late. I gotta go set up for the captain's table. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, especially after the fact, you're just gonna see me doing setup time. So you won't actually. The actual captain's table video live stream will be on the captain's table podcast, which I have to set up here. That video I have to set up here shortly. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. I will dump you over if you're watching live. It'll dump you over to that once this ends and that goes live. But keep an eye on that. But if you're watching this after the fact, this is basically the end of the video. So you should get that one. All right. Thank you for joining us, and I'll be right back. I don't think the Hornets were lazy. There were game-ready assets that could be fill the void for certain retain new staff in the meantime. Yeah, but I mean, they were lazy in the sense that they didn't want to do full implementation of them right off the bat. I doubt they have the same sort of overlook that a new ship would have if it was going into Star Citizen. I see it as CIG did not have the staffing or did not have the desire to fully integrate it into Star Citizen at the time, but they had them ready to go, so they just said, fuck it, and pulled the trigger. So I'll call that lazy, because they could do that. They could have put the effort in, but they didn't. Be right back, chat. Oh, we didn't realize we were muted there, chat. I'm sorry. We were just talking about how our private personal conversations with Chris Roberts and his plans for the future of Star Citizen in Squadron 42. So sorry about that. We'll try to go over that again when we come back into it.